So looky what I did. Came out to the garden to water this morning, and look what I grew. I got beets. This one is almost like perfect. And all those beet greens. I think I should leave some in the ground until I'm actually going to juice the greens, because look how vibrant and beautiful they are. You can juice the greens, you can put them in a smoothie, and you can eat or juice the actual beets. But here, you see these guys down here? Those are the beets trying to come out of the ground. I was out here picking weeds, and I noticed them. Now this little guy here, I'm going to have to take that inside and juice that. Although it's being eaten by something, but it's going to be eaten by me next. So anyway, let's get this weed out of here. Wild strawberry, man, it is prolific, taking over everything. So anyway, there's my little beets. Pretty cool. So anyway, there is parsley there. I got that tomato plant there that is much smaller than this monster right here. Look at that thing. I think it's gigantic. That is a cherry tomato plant. Cherry tomatoes grow in clusters. See how that one is right there? It's got, I actually remember when I put this here, because it was really heavy, I let some of the tomatoes sit on one side of the support and some on the other. And then here's a nice little cluster right here. And last night, I got my very first red one from way down in here, which is crazy because you would think it doesn't get as much sun, right? Look at that pretty cluster there. I don't know if you guys can see that like I can with the shadows, but maybe I just can't see on my phone. Anyway, so I had to put this cage around my marigolds because the rabbit was eating the marigolds. And I found the culprit sitting over there in the shade of my tomato plant. Apparently he doesn't want to eat the tomatoes, but definitely eats my marigolds, because look at this guy here. I had to put a cage around that one. This one, not a flower. So this is my pepper plant here. I don't see, oh, there we go. There's a bloom right there. That's where you're gonna have a pepper start. And there's another one, and there should be another one up here probably. They usually go right in the center of them little clusters. So we'll have some pepper plants soon. Another little weed. There's a weed as we go. You know, I'm looking at dandelions a little differently these days, because you can put dandelion leaves in your salad. They're a little spicy, and you can also juice them, or not juice them, but dry them and make tea. Well, yeah, no, you can juice them, and you can dry them and make tea out of them. I've done all of it. Got Wandering Jew planting itself in the garden. See that? That's why it's called Wandering Jew, because it sends out the stalks or whatever, the limbs, the plant, whatever. And God, I sound intelligent, don't I? But anyway, see how it puts down roots? The weight of the leaves puts the root into the soil. You see what I'm talking about there? That's a stick, but this little bitty root is going into the soil right there. So I live in Missouri though, so this thing will be dead in the winter, but I can dig it up and put it in a pot. All right, now onto this sucker. Look at how big this thing is. Oh, and look. All right, so these are the blooms. Look how furry that thing is. I love it. Look how dirty my hand is. I love the furry tomato plants. I love the way tomato plants smell too. They remind me of my dad. He always smelled like a tomato plant. And sweat. But this thing is giant. I am 5 foot tall, and this is every bit as tall as me. Yeah. Yep, I'm staring this thing eye to eye. Eye to eye. 5 foot tall. I'm 5'7". So that means that this is 5 foot, like what, 5, 6? Giant. And these came out of the same little 6-packs right here. Why isn't this guy as big as this guy? I don't understand it. We amended the soil and everything the same. But, yeah. What else we got going? We've got, now something is eating my cauliflower. I put a bunch of crushed eggshells all around the ground because I thought it was slugs, but they're still getting onto the plant, and I'm not sure if they're coming from the plant next door and just hopping over, but they're not eating this. They're just eating this. So I might have to, I gotta read up on pests for cauliflower plants, see how I can get rid of it naturally if I can. All right. Got the gladiolas. Oh, bummer. Gladiolas are so tall, and their blooms are at the very tip top of their stalks. See how that bent right there? So just from watering it, it made the blooms so heavy. Now I'm gonna have to cut that, which is fine. I'll cut it and I'll have a vase of flowers, but they bloom from the bottom all the way to the top, and then they die off that way too. So I've got to figure out about deadheading or whatever. But if you take this and cut this off, you'll be able to put it on in a vase and watch those last few bloom right there. So I'm gonna come back with scissors and do that in a minute. This guy, now this one is almost perfect. I just had to stake it. And here's what I did. I had a tomato stake, so I just flipped it upside down when I saw this was getting pretty heavy, and I put the tomato stake around it that way to kind of hold it up. All right, what else we got going on over here? Got the fern. We've got to get her repotted. She's outgrown her pot. Wind chimes, not very loud. I love this plant up here. This is a chenille plant. I had this when I was in Florida. They're a tropical plant, and I was able to get it to overwinter in the house, but they have blooms that look like little red caterpillars. I think they're so cool. So yeah, it overwintered in the house. I'll put some tropical soil in it and try to overwinter it again, and maybe this year I'll put grow lights in there or something. All right, now I gotta walk around. Got aloe that needs to be repotted, dahlias that were dry as could be. These are some begonias that my friend Becca gave me for my birthday. There's some garlics gotta go in the garden still. I still have to get these into pots. I got a lot of garden work to do. All right, let's go check on the mint. I'm currently drying mint downstairs in the basement. You're supposed to cut mint around 10 o'clock in the morning. I think that's when the oils are the most dense, maybe, in the leaves and stuff. So man, this stuff really grows crazy. I took 5 large stalks out of here and I turned them upside down. They're hanging upside down in my basement drying so I can make herbal tea out of them. But it looks like I didn't touch it at all. So I'm gonna come over here and get 5 more and just keep cutting it like that. Peppermint grows like a weed, and because of that, you can trim it and pull it out like a weed and you're not gonna hurt it. So this garden, we amended this soil with some manure and topsoil. You can see the gap in between the house and the bed. So we need to put more soil in there to make up for that difference. But that junk plant right there is doing, it's just spectacular. I can't believe it overwintered here. I never thought it would. And then the daisies, I wonder if daisies, if they like to be deadheaded, kind of like the dianthus, you know what I mean? Because they have all these dead blooms on there, and they do say on their tag, good for cut flowers. So I wonder if it likes to be cut back, and that's how you get more blooms. So here's my other beets over here. I did an experiment to where I put beets in the front garden, I put beets on the side, and I put some beets in the back garden. And the beets in the front with the full sun, they're definitely winning, hands down. This right here is a random chive. I came out here and trimmed some of this for a recipe the other day. Get some more weeds out of here. Just kind of weed as you go, a little bit at a time. Mulch helps to keep down on weeds, but I haven't mulched yet this year. I'm still trying to get back in the swing of things from my surgery last year. Now this guy, he's not doing as well as the other junk plant. I had to cut back this hosta. I'm thinking that the root system on this hosta is probably just giant, as well as this one here. So I want to transplant this hosta, get it completely out of the bed so I can do more of the bed myself with what I want there. And then maybe that junk plant will be better. Now the other one, I put dry coffee grounds on both of these because they like acidic soil. So if your plant needs more acid, put the coffee grounds on there and water them in. Don't do it before you cook them though. All right, this guy is looking droopy. It's been hot out. We need some rain. I didn't want to water that too much. This is my redbud tree. We planted it from a stick last year, and it's doing really well. I have a tomato stake around that one as well so that it doesn't get run over by the lawnmower or anybody walking through the yard. All right, got the beautiful fern. And I ran out of room, man. I went crazy for flowers. That right there had white flowers on it. And I I had to find places to plant things. This is my wine bottle garden. I started it, I guess 2 years ago. Has it been already 2 years? And then last year, I spent the whole year having knee surgeries. Look at this nasturtium. This thing needs water. This bright sun is probably a little too much for it. I probably should put that one over there in that side garden, because it keeps, it needs a lot more attention than what it's getting. And these guys need some water. They're dying right now. I gotta mulch this bed in. That'll help them retain some water too. But it is July. I mean, shoot, July is hard on plants. All right, well, yeah, and here's, this is interesting to me. This is a clipping from a wandering Jew plant, and it's just been chilling in this bottle right here. I don't really do anything special. I don't keep it out of the sun. I did add more water to it. I'm going to add more water today to keep it up there, but it's hanging out doing its thing. So, I don't know. Here's my mess of a potting bench. I love it, but I still have to seal it. It looks like I'm getting a little sag right here, but this thing is a monster. All right, well, thanks for going on the garden walk with me this morning, and I will see you later.